ship, our obedience at all times. In every way, in every aspect of our life, there's never a time when we can forget about the Prophet ﷺ and his importance, and reminding ourselves always of how to follow him and how to be more like him.
وإذا كان الله عز وجل قد اشترط في صدق محبته عز وجل اتباع نبيه فقال: قل إن كنتم تحبون الله فاتبعوني يحببكم الله. والله عز وجل بين صدق المحبة بأنه باتباع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم، فلذلك من باب أولى على المسلم وهو يحب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أن يتأسى ويقتدي به في جميع أموره، وهذا لا يكون إلا أولا بالعلم بهذه السنة واستصحابها في كل وقت وفي كل مكان.
And to show you how amazing and important and great this affair is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran that say, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to the people that if indeed you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's a condition for the sincere and true love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then follow me, then obey me. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is commanding him to say, O Muslims, if truly you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then follow me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will love you. So it's only through the followership of the Prophet ﷺ that we can show our sincere love to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And the only way that we can follow and obey the Prophet ﷺ is, number one, to have knowledge of his sunnah, of his tradition, of his way, to learn how it was that he carried himself and what it was that he did, so that we ourselves can take on those attributes and be similar to him.
وكل واحد منا يتشوق إلى أن يشرب من يده الشريفة ومن حوضه صلوات الله وسلامه عليه، من حوض الكوثر، يشرب شربة لا يظمأ بعدها أبدا. ولكن هناك أناس سيبعدون عن حوضه صلى الله عليه وسلم، فيسأل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم مستقيما عن سبب ذلك، فيقال له: إنك لا تدري ماذا أحدثوا بعدك، فيقول: سحقا سحقا. إذا كان هذا الشوق في قلب كل مسلم بأن يشرب من حوض نبيه صلى الله عليه وسلم، فإياك بأمر يخالف سنته.
And who amongst us doesn't wish to drink from the pool of the Prophet ﷺ on the Day of Judgment? That he would give us from his own hand a drink that we would never feel thirsty from ever again. So the Prophet ﷺ mentioned to us that people would be pushed away from that pool. They would be rejected from allowed to drink from that pool. And the Prophet ﷺ, when he asks, why are they being stopped? Why are they being pushed back? The angels would respond to the Prophet ﷺ and say, you don't know what they created after your time. After you left, you don't know what they came with from innovations and new things in the religion. So the warning here is all of us dream and wish to drink from that pool. So woe to those who come with new things that the Prophet ﷺ did not do and did not condone for us to do.
فلنا في سنته الغنية والكفاية، فعلينا أن نأخذ بها. وكلما أحدث الناس بدعة أماتوا سنة، كلما أحيا الناس بدعة كان في المقابل أن هناك إماتة للسنة، لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم تركنا على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها، وقال: لا يزيغ عنها بعدي إلا هالك. وقال صلى الله عليه وسلم: ما بعث الله من نبي إلا كان حقا عليه أن يدل أمته على خير ما يعلمه له، وأن يحذرهم من شر ما يعلمه له. فنبينا بين لنا كل خير وحذرنا من كل شر، فالخير كله باتباع سنته، والشر كله بالخروج عن هذه السنة.
So the Shaykh mentions here that whatever the Prophet ﷺ has come with is sufficient for us. And there's no need to add or subtract anything from it. And there's no people that add an innovation, that create something new in the religion, except that by default you destroy or you kill one of the sunnahs of the Prophet ﷺ by doing that. So always we have to remember that the Prophet ﷺ, he left us ala al-mahajjat al-bayda, he left us on a pure, perfect way that is full light. There is no shortcomings in it, there is nothing missing, there is no need for anything to be added or subtracted. And the Prophet ﷺ said, لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك. No one will turn away from it except that he will be lost and destroyed. And the Prophet ﷺ mentioned in the hadith that there is no prophet that was sent except that it is mandatory and obligatory on him to tell his people the best of that which he knows. So he can never conceal from them some good or not give them the best of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him and told them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has passed that knowledge to him, and he has definitely fully passed that knowledge to us.
ذلك واجب علينا أن ننظر في كل فعل نفعله أن نفعله بما جاء به الدليل، وأن نبتعد عما قد خالف الدليل والنص الشرعي. أسأل الله لي ولكم التوفيق والسداد، والله أعلم، صلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد.
That's why it's obligatory upon us to always look at every action we do, big or small, and make sure that it coincides with the evidence. The evidence being from the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. If there is an evidence for it, then we follow. If there is not, then we should not do it. And that should always be our criteria. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the guidance and the steadfastness on the path of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and to make us from those who follow his Sunnah completely.